Okay, so it sort of feels like the first big film of the year is out now with Mickey 17. I mean, yeah, Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boy did extremely well in the UK, but it didn't get a theatrical release in the US. And Captain America Brave New World, which there are for sure arguments about whether that is the biggest film of the year, or the first big film of the year, sorry. It didn't have much excitement going for it and hasn't really been met with much either, critically and at the box office. But yeah, with Mickey 17 being Bong Joon-Ho's next project since Best Picture winning Parasite, and with Robert Pattinson starring in this sci-fi comedy, the excitement was of course there for a lot of people, which is why I think it's the first big release of 2025. Mickey 17 follows Mickey Barnes, a man who was signed up to be a crew member on a spaceship set to colonize an ice planet, in which the expedition is led by Kenneth Marshall, a failed politician. His role is an expendable and is given different life-threatening missions in which when he dies, his body is reprinted with the same memories. The expendable role is there for the benefit of science, as he can die and be reprinted, repeatedly providing valuable data which will help the other crew members. Mickey 17 is based off of the book Mickey 7, and shock horror, no, I haven't read it, but I actually would like to. It's been on my radar for quite a while, and I'm going to have to get it, I think. Anyway, Bong Joon-Ho changed it from 7 to 17 to enhance the plot about human printing, and I'm guessing the morality of it. Killing him 10 more times means there are more reprints of Mickey. I liked this focus of the film, where I was consistently, throughout the runtime, thinking about ethics and morality, employing someone whose job is to die, and you have every memory of his saved on a hard drive, and using the expendables to test new things to see if they are deadly to humans, where they are going through extreme physical and emotional pain for the benefit of everyone else. You're controlling crew members' caloric intake to the single digits, even if they go over a calorie over their limit, which is a very low limit that they have anyway. It's announced to the ship that they need to control it, and they have to control it. And the colonization of a planet in which already has species living there, and Marshall, the leader, sees them as different, so to him they must be a threat, and wishes to exterminate the whole species under barely no knowledge, even though it's their planet in the first place. Like, the humans are the aliens here, which they mention at the end in a great monologue from Naomi Aki. This all reminded me of a certain someone and what things could look like. Performances from everyone were pretty good, but of course the standout was Robert Pattinson, who was great, and he always is, to be fair. He brought the comedy in two roles, which are, although are clones with the same memories, are very different. Mickey 17 is shy, he's quieter, keeps to himself and his girlfriend, does the job, moves on sort of thing, has clear self-esteem and self-worth issues, blames himself for a lot of things. But Mickey 18 is very different. He's more aggressive, he's more physical about how he wants to pay back Marshall for all the wrongdoings against him. Because these expendables are treated like trash, you know, probably why they're called expendables. Mickey 17 hates Marshall, but wouldn't really do anything about it. Mickey 18 would go and get him himself. That's the vast difference, and it's a lot of work for an actor. It's pretty hard to pull off because you are essentially playing two very different roles in one film. That, like, they even have different voices, and Pattinson killed it. I felt very connected to Mickey 17 in particular and was rooting for him the whole way, and that's just testament to Pattinson's great acting. Now, I found the first half a lot stronger than the second, and I was kind of struggling to put a finger on why, but I think I've got it now. I felt like the comedy hit a lot more for me in the first half. There was a lot of building done to establish where we were going. Narratively, you know, there was a lot of narration from Mickey 17, a lot of explaining happens, like why they go on the ship in the first place, the introduction to each character and their relationship. After this, I thought things got a little messy, and this started once Mickey 17 arrives. Different subplots left to overlap with each other, like the story between Mickey and Timo, who was played by Stephen Yeun, was sort of just left. And then you come back to it towards the end, and it just feels a bit out of place. Like, I forgot about Timo, to be honest, until, you know, you see him about half hour towards the end, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about him. I sort of felt like I knew what was coming with the clone storyline as well, and that began to lose me a bit, but That could just be me. This isn't to say that it wasn't entertaining or enjoyable, though, as it for sure was. I did have a great time watching Mickey 17. I just wish the second half was a bit stronger than it was. Oscars watch. When a film comes out this early, I genuinely don't really know what to do, so this whole section is probably going to be a bit of a mess. After what happened in the 2025 ceremony with Dune Part 2, films that come out this early, especially right at the beginning of March when we've just had the Oscars like last week, they do get forgotten about, which is really annoying. Had Dune Part 2 come out in October or November, I think it would have got 9 or 10 nominations like the first one did. This is all very dependent on if the Academy will remember Mickey 17. They might, because of Bong Joon-Ho, but they also might not, because the ceremony is in a year's time. We've got so many more movies to go through. They probably will just forget about it, which I hate about the Academy. I hate that bit. I think it will get a few techs, even coming out this early. The visual effects were very impressive. So was the cinematography. The film looked really, really good. The production design I thought was great as well. When you think about the big, like 5, which are picture, director, screenplay, actor, actress, when it's this early, it's a who knows thing. I personally don't think it will get picture, director, or screenplay. But Robert Pattinson, however, is worth a mention for sure. I definitely keep a note of his performance because I think it is good enough, especially with him playing 2 different roles. I think that's what pushes it into this territory. But again, it's whether the Academy will remember this performance or not, because I have no clue. So keep a note of that one and the text I mentioned come nominations morning in February. It could get more text than that. Those are the 3 that I had in my head. But it also could just go unnominated. It's so good to have big sci-fi films back in cinemas, and I for sure would recommend Mickey 17. It explores interesting on-topic themes, and despite the messiness in the second half, it does have an intriguing story, even if I could see where it was going. I can see a lot of people not really liking it, but I can also see a lot of people loving it. So basically what I'm saying is go for the cinema and see for yourself if you haven't seen it. My scoring of this film is something that I've been struggling with since I left the cinema. I have no clue what to give it, but I think I'm going to go with 3.5 stars for Mickey 17. I'm very, very interested to watch this again to see if there's anything more I can grab. So this rating could very well change. It could go up. It won't go down, but it could go up. If you enjoyed the review, please like and subscribe and let me know what you thought of Mickey 17 if you've already seen it. I'll see you in the next.